Hey there, I wanted to jump in here today and talk to you about how to troubleshoot and find the thing that you can't figure out what is messing up and why, and a quick tool that you can use to figure out what you're looking at. I'm going to hop over here and share my screen with you. Now, look, this is not my best dressed day. So I wasn't prepared to film today, but a question came in and I just wanted to hop in here and answer it. So when I'm working in my WordPress website and there's something that I keep changing, and maybe I've gone into incognito and it still doesn't look different. It's not taking the changes that I've put together. Maybe I've even flushed the cache. Talked a little bit about that in one of our previous videos, but um, maybe you're just trying to change the wrong thing. And here's a quick tool that I always use to figure out what exactly am I looking at that is not getting changed, and maybe where is that code coming from. So this is maybe a little more advanced than you want to get involved with, but when I'm working on a website, I'm trying to figure something out. So as an example, I can't figure out where this font style is coming from, or the question came in, where's this font style coming from? I right click on my page and go to inspect. And I want to just show you how, if you scroll down the code here, you don't have to know code, by the way. You can scroll down and start to figure out where you are on the page, because it will highlight, like it is on the screen right now, exactly where you are. And then you can start seeing some things, and I'll point out specific items that I'm always looking for. So somebody's wondering, okay, what is this? If I'm hovering over it when I right click, it usually drops me right to the element, which it did here. And if they're asking where's that font coming from, well, first of all, I can tell them it's coming from whatever they've set up in their settings as their H2 font colors, font weight, all of that jazz. But second, I can also see that someone has added some extra CSS here because they've added this style color and made it that green color instead of just exactly what it was. You've got a lot of other things going on here, but once you get to the element itself, so you can see that this highlights that entire column, and then you get closer and closer to the element you're looking at as you drop down, and you're probably expanding these little carrots as you go. So as an example, if I wanted to look at this next form field, this company name field, then that is going to be here, and I might expand this carrot to really get down in there and say, where's company name coming from, and how's it getting its CSS or the style codes, which basically in this case is just coming directly from Gravity Forms, and it's G field. That means gravity field label. And so when I'm looking at, even when I'm in my Gravity Forms styler through Beaver Builder, where I'm making some changes, that said G field label. And when I look at my typography here, it says label, and then it's got the typography related to that label. So this is pulling the styles directly from my Gravity Forms styler and Beaver Builder, or it's pulling directly from the CSS class that Gravity Forms has put in the code in the theme editor, which you can find your theme editor by going to Appearance and Theme Editor. But just to hop back into what we're looking at, because I don't like to, if you don't know what you're doing, definitely do not get into theme editor. But if you're just trying to see, like, where is this style coming from, where I could make a change, or maybe I need to reach out to a coder to make a change, hover over it, right click, inspect, and then you can start to see what's happening. So this is going to follow your H2 styling for your entire site, except that it's also declaring that this should be a separate color. In this particular case, I can see what the color would be if I didn't have this color declared by unchecking this box. So just a quick note, that change that I just made does not save. So you don't have to worry. If you go in here and you're clicking boxes, you're not messing up anything. You're just seeing what it would be if that was unchecked. So if I can find where this style is for this color, and I can delete it if I don't like that this is what it will end up looking like. It's going to call on the other CSS code that's probably also in your theme editor. So you can just click these things and see what they'll look like if they're not being used in the way that we had that going on. So the other thing that I generally look at is scrolling down to the bottom so that you can see the numbers that are set out in the margin, the border, the padding. So a lot of times you'll see numbers here. So as an example, yeah, you've got a margin of 10 just above when the field starts. And I can go in here and see what would it look like if we made that 0. Not a lot happened there. And again, it's not saving because I'm just inspecting things and seeing what they would look like. But that's another thing that I often go and see. And I can also see constraints on sizing. So I can tell that this is not going to go outside of a 10-20 pixel window in the width, that this is a constrained item. So maybe we've got a fixed width for the content that's happening on this page, which is exactly what's happening. But a lot of times I just like to look at these numbers and get an idea for what my margin and border and padding is. Sometimes when things get hidden and I'm trying to change like a margin or padding on something, but it's not making the change that I want it to change, or things start laying out in a wonky position on, I know everyone doesn't use that word, but I use it a lot. It starts laying out in a wonky position on your website, I can drop into this area and see, hey, wait a minute, there's a margin here of 16. I've got to figure out where that's happening. And right here, it's happening on this line break. And so I can go in and try to see what's making that 16 margin happen. You can see no more margin until we get to the input container, and then there's an 8 pixel margin there. And so these are things that are likely declared because the class says G input container. These are probably declared in the theme editor CSS files that are directly from Gravity Forms. And so just a note that I do not suggest, if you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you stay out of the theme editor. You do head in there and you make a change. You're making, generally speaking, global changes across your entire website. So be very careful that anything, so as an example, you might drag something that has a label of a button on your website. And if you find button in your theme editor and you make a change, it might change all the buttons on your website. So just be very careful that you know exactly what you're doing and what you're trying to target with the CSS coding. But you're really just trying to troubleshoot and identify what's happening so you can tell someone else, like, I don't know how to fix this, but I can see where it's going wrong. If you guys can get in there, web developer, and figure out how to fix this code on this page only or this form only, that would be super helpful. And a lot of times, at least you can see what's going on, even if you don't know how to fix it. So that's just a quick tool that I use to troubleshoot and look for things and figure out where it's going on and what it's referencing. So just wanted to hop in here and give you that tip and tool that you can use when you're trying to troubleshoot changes that you're making on your website, especially if they're not showing up or they're laying out kind of wonky and that's not what you were hoping for. All right, talk to you later. I'm Tina Smith, and I'm here to make complicated website stuff feel easy so that you can solve the right problems, grow good business, and get the online results you've always wanted. See you later.